Good day, everybody, and welcome back to the flight deck. Today finds us in Indianapolis, Indiana, where we're going to carry on our tour of the U.S. capitals. We're heading southwards down into Kentucky. In fact, we're flying down to the capital, which is Frankfort. And we'll be going to the capital city airport. It's about an hour away, not too far at all. So we're sitting here up on the same ramp where we ended up last time when we flew in. And we had that escort by the Spitfire flown by Wayne. That was a nice surprise, but let's hop on board. We can get the aircraft started up and ready to get going. Alright, here we are on board. We can make sure we are on the battery cart. We'll get that plugged in and get everything up and going. Just going to turn that up. There. So with the 1 hour flight time, we're not looking at doing much in the way of fuel management. We'll just take the load that we have on board. It's kind of hard getting a weather report for down here, but finally did get one. I will bring it over and put it into the chat. There we go. As we can see, winds are currently 280 at 6, gusting 16, 10 miles of visibility, broken clouds at 5,500, 7,000, 8,500. We can kind of see out there. We got a lot of different cloud layers. 24 degrees, 3007 is our barrow. So we're going to come down here and we'll go 3007. There we go. It is set and cross-checked. So we're all good there. And we can start getting the aircraft ready to start. We've got, what was it, 10 passengers? 18 passengers on board today. And we're going up to a flight level of 8,000 feet. Just get the fuel tank switched over. And we're on the mains on both sides now. All right. So I believe we are ready to go, so we can get the doors closed in the back. There we are on the ramp. Doors are all closed up. And I think we should be good to fire up.
We are ready to go when you are.
Sounds like they're ready in the back. Alright, so today, given the winds, if we look out here, you can see the windsock there, and we're going to be using this shorter runway. It's 7,000 feet that runs kind of east to west. So we're going to be taking off on that. So we're going to taxi out here down to the end of the runway and then be heading out.
If you have any trouble finding a location for your carry-on items, please let a flight attendant know.
We come up top now.
If the overhead bin is full after you put your carry-on
Alright,
inside
so we'll
of it,
get the
please
beacon
close
light
the bin
on.
as a courtesy to other passengers. Once all
Come
your
down.
items are put away,
We're going to
please
start
clear
with the
aisle
right
and sit
engine.
down in your seat to allow other passengers to find their seats as well.
So
If
mags
you're
are
seated
on.
in an emergency exit row, please
Boost
leave the
pump
exit
is
seat
now on.
responsibility to the
Generator
seat
is
card
on.
and the seat back in front of
We're going
you.
to come down here
Please
to the
make sure you are
mixture.
willing and able to perform
Mixture is
the
going to go to
actions
auto
required.
rich.
If you are not able or prefer not to perform these actions,
Propeller will go
please let a
fully
flight
forward,
attendant know so you can
and we're going to crack the throttle.
Feel free to use your
About
cell
an
phones
inch.
during the rest of the boarding process, but we do ask that laptops, tablets, and any other larger electronic devices
All right,
are stowed once we
let's
depart.
get the engine up and running.
Thank you, and
We'll
welcome
start
aboard.
to energize the right side. And we're going to start on the stand and just taxi out.
Good
No
afternoon,
issues
ladies
there.
and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 114 with service to Kentucky. Our flight time
sounds
will be
good.
roughly 56 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make
And
sure
prime.
that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in the full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, prepare doors for departure,
All right.
cross-check, verify straps, and stand by for all calls.
It's the right side up and running. I think those calls are a little bit off for this era of airplane in the back, but that's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the flight attendants for a safety demonstration.
Alright, so
When the
propeller's
seatbelt
fully
is fastened,
forward,
please make
mixture
sure
is
that
auto
your
rich,
seatbelts are fastened low and
throttle
tight
is
across the
cracked,
bottom. To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another.
generators
and
are
tighten
on,
the
boost
loose
pump
end of
is
the
on,
strap.
energizing the
Release
left
the seatbelt
side,
with the upper portion of the buckle.
make
Please
sure the
adjust
mags
your
are
seat
on.
fasten throughout the entire flight as you may experience unexpected turbulence. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. Please take a few moments now to locate your nearest exit. In some cases, your nearest
Mesh
exit
left,
may be
prime
behind.
left.
If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you towards the exit. In the event of a loss of cabin pressure, an oxygen mask will drop in front of you.
There we go. And we now have both engines up and running. Did a check earlier, not seeing any name tags around here, so I guess there's not many people flying in multiplayer in this area of the US at the moment. We'll do another check once we're up in the air. Alright.
In the event that the pilot decides to take us for a swim,
So both engines are up, generators are on, we can switch over to internal battery, we'll remove the battery cart.
When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest.
And we come through, so avionics will come on,
around your waist and buckle at the front.
position lights will come on,
To inflate the vest,
windshield,
firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If your life vest does not inflate
actually that can stay off.
blow into the mouthpieces for
Pitot
manual
heat will
inflation.
come on.
Each vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary flotation device.
We'll turn the cockpit
Once again,
lights
all
on.
devices must be in airplane mode, and your larger
It's a little bit dark in here.
off and stowed at this time. Please securely stow your personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened.
Alright, with the radios up, we're going to enter in, there's only one VOR we're going to.
This is a non-smoking flight. Tampering with,
It is
disabling, or destroying the smoking
110.2.
prohibited by law. All of this information and more can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you. We suggest reading this and letting your
And
cabin
our
member
initial
know if you
heading
have any
out to
questions.
there is going to be
Thank you for flying with us
214.
again, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
So we're going to turn this around to 214 as a rough guide. In the heading we're going to be want to be going, and we'll set 214 here as well on the compass card. See if it's already kind of pointing in that direction. Again, just as a bit of a rough guide to our direction of travel. So we can bring the engines down to 1,000 RPMs. Alright. We are good. Take a look at the aircraft. Everything is looking good out here. And we're going to taxi out here. We'll make a right and then onto the taxiway, and then we'll head all the way down to the end of the runway. And that's runway 32. Alright. Brakes are off. Manual braking is on. And we can come out now. Get that tail right around. A little bit of power. There we go. As we say goodbye to Indianapolis. Again, our flight today is just over an hour. We'll be heading down to Frankfort, Kentucky, the capital city of Kentucky. As we continue our tour of the 48 lower 48 states, or the 48 contiguous states in the US of A. We started up in the northwest or northeast, and we're going to be ending up down, I think, out in the west. That should be a pretty good trip there. Alright, so we're going to go right down to the end, not that we need that entire distance, but it allows us to set back down in case we have any issues. So 214 is going to be our initial rough heading, so we'll get the directional gyro kind of entered in for that. Somewhere roughly around there. Are sounding good. temperatures are coming up.
The cabin is ready.
And looks like we're ready to go in the back. Very nice. We're just going to come right down to the end here. This is the default DC-3 in the sim with the Duckworks mod, which makes it a lot more flyable. Kevin, good to see you again. It's a name we haven't seen in here for a little bit. Hope everything's gone well and you're settling into your annual routine now that the summer's passed. And hope to see you back in the sky soon. Alright, so brakes are on. Come back in here. We're going to put the parking brake on while we do our final setup. So we're good there. Everything is good up top. Everything is good on with the boost pumps, cockpit lighting. Radios, we're going to go 122.8 on radio 1 and 121.5 on radio 2. Our COM 2. We're also going to pop down here and we're going to make sure that the hydraulics are around so the gyro pilot will work. And I think we are good to go. So oil pressure is looking good, fuel pressure is looking good, oil temperature right side and left side is looking all right. Right is warmer than left since we started at first. Cylinder head temperatures are looking good, the carb temperatures are looking good. Pressures, outdoor temperatures, and everything else is looking fine. Fuel is good. We are on the mains, so we're going to go to the left main to monitor. And I think we are ready to roll out. So, there's external view. We'll roll out, take position out here. Approach is looking good. Alright, so we're going to have a bit of a left-hand crosswind, but it looks like it's going to be pretty much a quartering crosswind. So we'll bear that in mind as we come out. And as we roll out, we'll go flaps 1. Standard takeoff flaps. And we got a long runway for this airplane. It's over 7,000 feet, so it won't be an issue. Alright. Get that tail around. And there we go. Alright, so brakes are on. We're going to bring the engines up to about 25% or 25 inches. We're going to go to 40 for takeoff. There we go. Engines are coming stable. We'll release the brakes. 40 inches manifold pressure set. On the rudder, controlling a little bit of forward pressure on the stick, try to keep that tail or get that tail up. Reduces drag, allows the aircraft to accelerate a little bit quicker. Coming along, airspeed is alive, 70 knots. There's 80 knots, a little bit of back pressure, and we are up. Realize I didn't turn on the landing lights, but that's fine. So positive rate, we're not going to be touching back down on the field, so gear comes up. And we're going to bring the RPMs back to 2,500, and we're going to bring the power back to 35 inches, and then reset props to 2,500, make sure they're there, and that is our climb power set. And about 100 knots is what we want, 100 to 110 at the moment. Just trimming out, and as we are coming up through 500 feet above the ground, about there. We'll bring the flaps all the way up. Keep trimming out. There we go. Alright, so now that we're looking pretty good there and everything's looking good, we're going to bring on the autopilot. We're going to watch for that nose dip, which we always seem to get. And we're going to work to get that nose up, get that climb rate going. Here we go, get that nose coming up. We can go in now, activate the rudder mode, and we'll start our turn. Gonna watch that angle. There we go. Starting to get her under control now. And we're going to aim for about 110 on the climb. She'll start to slow down. So gear is up. Flaps are retracted. There's the airport. And we are heading off. You can see the beacon. We'll get her stable in climb, and then we'll adjust our course to head towards the VOR. Alright, so that is starting to come back. A little bit higher, get her down to that 110. Alright, so let's turn a little bit further to the south. Try to get that needle lined up, heading off towards that VOR. Of course, the angle is going to be a little bit different since the original was taken off of the airport, and we did fly out from the airport. There she is. And goodbye to Indianapolis. There it is, all laid out there. We're heading out towards Bloomington. And that will be where the VOR is. It's coming in nicely. We want to stick around that yellow line for our climb speed. And as usual, as we climb, air density decreases, which means we get a power loss, so we're going to keep adding throttle, keep the engines at 35 inches all the way up to 8,000 feet. More, get that lined up. So 1122 is the Louisville, famous Louisville, Kentucky VOR. It's not on our route, but I'm going to tune it in just as a reference so we know when we fly past it and we're abeam. So there's 1122. We'll put that on VOR 2 or nav 2. And that's the green one, and that'll pop up eventually, and then we'll be able to use that as the we're now abeam of Louisville. It's 5,000 feet, 8,000 to go. You can see we're dropping below the line there, so we're going to nose down a little bit. Let that speed come up. And we're down to 32 inches, so we'll add power. We're coming up on 2,000 to go. Again, there's no real autopilot in this aircraft. There is a gyro pilot to help with kind of roughly tracking a heading and roughly staying on altitude, but nothing locks in, so you're constantly shifting and making adjustments as you're basically just adjusting the readings coming off of gyroscopes. Alright, so we are up and rolling here. 111 miles to go and less than 2,000 feet to cruise. Once we're in cruise, we'll trim out, get the speed building up. We'll then close the cowl flaps down to trail. They'll close to just the point they need to keep the engine temperatures good. And then we will switch to lean mixture, and that will drop our fuel consumption down. And we will get down to a just what we need fuel mixture. Just throttles forward again. It's around 10 or 11, well, depending on the temperature and the air density, but 10 or 11,000 feet is where you start to run out of travel at 35 inches. Here's those clouds we're starting to run into that we saw listed in the forecast. 55,000, 7,000, 8,500, or 5,500, yeah, 8,500 and 7,000. So we're going to be popping in and out of clouds for a little bit. And 800 feet to go. We're tracking nicely. We're not quite at there, so if we turn this over, we can see we're actually tracking inbound on roughly the 201 radial, and if we look over here, we're about 202, 203, so not bad. All right, we're coming up to 8,000 feet. So we're going to start rolling our elevator trim forward, and we want to keep it decreasing our climb rate until we're level, and we're going to keep doing that until our speed stabilizes in level flight. There's 8,000. We'll get that forward, and our speed's going to start to come up. We're going to leave it in climb power for a minute. That'll help accelerate us a little bit quicker. So keeping that, edging that forward so she's not trying to climb as the speed comes up. There's 140. So we're going to go to our cruise power setting, which is 2,000 RPM. And 30 inches of power. Readjust the RPM to 2,000, and we'll get ourselves nice and level again. And we're going to come over here and turn the cowl flaps to trail, and speed still building. We'll keep her level. We should get up to about 160, 165. Your altitude slightly climbed, so we'll edge a slight down slope, not too much. And there we go. we are in cruise. Beautiful day to go flying. Just a few clouds out and about. Nothing really major. Got a ground speed of 170 knots. We're heading towards the VOR. So when we hit the VOR, we're going to come off it at a heading of 126.
We'll be starting our in-flight service. We will be serving complimentary drinks and snacks. Please look in your seat back for our list of complimentary drinks. Premium drinks are available.
Just turn this one around a little bit.
If you wish to make an additional purchase, please note that we only accept credit cards.
So it's going to be roughly that direction. So almost a 90-degree turn from where we are flying now. 177 in the cruise. Alright, everything is looking good. So boost pumps can't come off. Generators are on. That's all good. I'm going to kill the cockpit lights. Radios and that are good. Everything is good up here. Pitot is on. We have no icing issues. And battery is on. Alright. We're flying over southern Indiana. Beautiful views of the forests and the hills. There's another aircraft, F-16 of course. We're in the States, why not? It's a nice shot there. Some nice clouds in the background. Alright, so as we're trudging along here to the VOR in Bloomington, which we should be able to see the town right there. So basically when we hit the town, we're going to turn and head off in that left kind of 90-degree angle, 80-degree angle or so. Coming up this week on the schedule, tomorrow is our day off. We won't be doing any flying tomorrow. Friday, we're back in Satan. We're flying the 737 out of our base in Denver, Colorado. And Friday, we're heading down to Las Vegas, Nevada, which should be pretty cool. Saturday, Saturday we are flying. Oh, Saturday there's no stream. Yes, I have a function I have to go to. No stream on Saturday. Sunday we're back in the 747-8 freighter. We'll be flying the F1 support series. Going down a little bit fast there. We'll be flying the F1 support series, and we will be flying from Amsterdam, where we flew last week, down to Milan in Italy. That will be on Sunday. I just want to get a slight positive climb rate going here, get us back up to that 8,000 feet. So that is the schedule for this week as we stand right now. Everything is looking good out there. We are cruising along nicely. Coming up in October, I will be away for about almost a week. I'm going to have a couple videos come out during that period, and then at the beginning of November I'm away again for a week, and I'll have some videos coming out in that time frame as well. So there'll be no dead space on the channel. Just while I'm not here to stream, I do have some videos coming out, and I'll have some more in the future if we need them. coming up towards that VOR, you can see that the needle is starting to come around, so we're slightly to the east of it, which is fine. When it swings down, we know that it's beside us. We're going to make the turn on the outbound on the 206 radio, and we're going to fly that off towards Frankfort. Once we finish the Saturday series flying around the Atlantic, and there's only about 5 flights left on that series, we'll be starting a new one. That's going to take us on a lovely trip north to south as well. Back in an old favorite aircraft of ours. It'll be nice to see you again, with a little bit of a modern touch. So we will be enjoying that one on Saturdays. There's 8,000 feet coming up. Keep it a little bit more level here. That VOR needle start to swing a little bit more as we pass over the town of Bloomington. If you're a fan of the series MASH, which I was, this is where Colonel Henry Blake was born. Bloomington, Indiana. Alright, so there's the needle almost all the way over, so we're going to dial this around now. We're going to that 126 degrees, and then we will see where we end up at that point. So that's going to be about there. Lovely look down on the town. Of course, one of the other add-ons I'm running is the VFR poles and telephone wire and hydro wires and poles, smokestacks, chimneys, and all that stuff. So it really adds some pretty cool stuff in here, like these radio masts, which you would be able to see. All right, so we are here tracking outbound. Go slightly more southerly. Give it 2 notches. All right, 93 miles to go. So if we look at Frankfort Airport, it is basically an east-west, 5,500 foot. And the weather reported in Frankfurt currently, so there's an update because this is not helping. It says variable 4 knots gusting 16, but it does not give a heading or a range of headings. So I'm going to assume it out of the west. So we're going to land on runway 25. 10 miles of visibility, skies clear, 26 degree, 3006. There we go. Set on the barrows. Automatic report coming in, so it's not picking up the wind direction, but that's fine. We're good there. We're going to again try to keep that to 8,000 degree or 8,000 feet. Just playing with the trim here, the elevator. Try to keep it there, keeping that 30 inches. 2,000 RPM, and our speed is good. Still got 188 knot wind, but I think we're picking up that tailwind now, so probably getting a good little bit of a push as we fly over this lovely rolling hills, forest, and lake properties. Looks very nice. going to be flying over the, which river is this? Ohio River. Eventually, I'm not sure when we pass into Kentucky. Just checking some of the airports en route, see where they are. Oh wow. Alright, so it's down around Louisville, so it's pretty far along before we cross over. So Frankfort, the capital, is right up at the northern end of Kentucky. Still the only aircraft out there that we see. It's all good. Lovely little flight today. You can hear the hum on the engines as the props are slightly out of sync. Later on they would come up with a gauge that would show that so that you could try to fine tune the prop RPM and get rid of that throbbing noise. But it is something you got with the turboprops. So the plan is to fly down. We're going to overfly the airfield and do a left-hand pattern coming in land. So we are going to be heading sort of direct to it, slightly on the north side, so we can make that turn south and overfly the runway. When we do that, we want to be at circuit height, which is 1,000 feet above airport elevation. Airport elevation is 812 feet, so we're going to want to be at 18 to 1,900 feet, 1,800 feet actually, and we'll do the runway. So we have to keep an eye out for military helicopter operations north of the runway, since there's a helipad up there. There's deer and birds in the vicinity of the airport as well. But other than that, it should be a pretty straightforward landing. Once we're down, we're going to exit to the left, and then we'll taxi down to the terminal area. Oh, one thing I forgot to do, we'll bring the mixtures back to auto lean. This gives us a better fuel burn rate. It's a short flight, so it's not a big deal, but prevents fouling in the engines as well. Alright, so if we come on here and see if we can dial into the radial we are actually on. It's the 120 radial. So that is going to be slightly off. So we're going to go a little bit more this way. I guess we're dealing with wind. We don't want to drift too far. Coming out of that rolling green hill area, we got a little town coming up. Looks like it is Seymour. Should have an airport there as well. Not seeing it. It says it should be somewhere down in here. This is just a grass strip. Hard to see. Oh, no. Wrong town, actually. There's Seymour. And there's the airport over there. That's it. This is, what town is this? Brownstown. And it dimensions a 864 foot tower, and there it is. That's that add-on doing that. That's very cool. And we're into the, I guess we're into the central states now. We're getting very flat out here. We saw this when we did the flight on the Route 66. We got into this huge run where it was just flat like this for quite the distance. It's all good. 68 miles to go. Altitude's increasing a little bit, so let's knock that down a notch. Keep that under control. So 30 inches and 2,000 RPM. And everything is looking really, really good. Quick look back through the door there. The passengers are sitting back there, but we don't want to hear from them. I'm still climbing slightly, so we'll give it another notch downwards. Just fine-tuning to keep us reasonably close to that 8,000 foot mark. Luckily, one of the follow-on aircraft to this, the DC-3, has a altitude hold, so it makes it easier to maintain that altitude, which will come in handy since we're going to be flying it again soon, and we'll be flying out that soon. So we want to be able to hold our altitude. Fuel is looking good. Altitude is looking good. Ground's a little fuzzy out there. That's fine. See what I mean by no clouds? This is really lightened up here. And skies have gone dead clear, which is nice to see. So about 40 miles out, we'll start downwards. We'll set down for an initial 3,000 feet, and then we'll adjust downwards from there. Alright, we've just lost the VOR that we've been tracking, which is fine. We're just basically going off on heading now. And triangulation. We could take a radial off of, if I had my piloting tools for the charts, you go to the Louisville one, which is south of us, figure out what radial the airport is on, and then we could tune that in, and then we could watch it come in, and that would let us know when we get there and all that good stuff. And then we could do that with the two different ones and triangulate our approach inwards. You could probably do it. Let me see if I can rough this out in Sky Vector. Alright, so there's the Louisville VOR, so that's going to be roughly on the 80 degrees, so Louisville 1148. So if we go 1148, okay, there it is, and we are flying heading, what is our heading? Right now is about 130. So we'll dial this to 130. About there. So that's that one. And the other one is Hanover. No, that's just a DME. Oh, okay, we can use this one. It's the foul mouth of 117. So we'll go 1170. Not sure if we're going to be high enough to pick up that one. Oh no, we're getting both of them. And that is going to be roughly 22.223, almost 230 on that one. So I said I wanted this one on 80. I wanted this one on 230. I'm not sure if this will work with these cards. But this should tell me when we cross the 80 on the Louisville, and that will come in, and that should mean we should be near the airport. We'll see if that works. But anyway, that's just showing us to the, well, actually this is the one pointing to Louisville, this is the one pointing to Falmouth. We should see them diverge a little bit more. But I do have the 80-degree radial dialed in for VOR1, which is this one. Which is pretty close, so we should see that come in closer here as we approach the airfield. Let's see what happens. We're 46 miles away. We're basically due north of Louisville, Kentucky. There she is. All down here. There's the Ohio River. So we'll begin our descent at the Ohio River. Ah, I thought I heard another engine. Hello there, Wayne. Oops. It's amazing how you can, when you pop out and you hear something and you're like, I hear another engine kicking around there. Very good to see you. Alright, so we're back down to 8,000 feet and we do have our escort. Oh, I can't see him out my window here. Sure if, oh, I still got that F-16 out there. I never did set up any internal views here, but there he is. Nice to see our friendly Spitfire flying along again. Again, flaps out, trying to keep up with us at this slow speed. Alright, so we are tracking nicely here. Slight adjustment to the east. Let's go for 2 notches. And as I mentioned, when we hit the Ohio River, which is right ahead of us here, we are going to start our descent. Initial down to 3,000, and then we'll see where we are and start lining up for that. But we're going to be landing on runway 25, as mentioned. You can see for our cross-reference here, it's pointing off towards the VORs there. This one is starting to come around. Actually, I don't know why, because I didn't dial it in. 1122. I put it. I don't know what I'm doing here. 1122. Get that over. And the other one was the fall mouth of 117. And that one is in. That's better. So now that we're across from Louisville. Actually, it's lost it. Oh well. I tried. Oh, power plant on the Ohio River. Major waterway, major industrial waterway out here in this part of the world. It keeps going south. Alright, time to head downward. So we're going to head down to 3,000 feet. We're going to try to keep us at between 500 and 1,000 feet per minute. So we're going to start with an initial power reduction down to 20 inches. And we'll see what happens. So in order to keep, since we're trimmed roughly for that speed, in order to keep that speed, we're going to have to start to descend. So it's going to put us into a descent. So as you can see, that brought us, we're slowly working our way down. Speed's coming off. Now it may not be trimming exactly because of the gyros, so we're going to give it a bit of a down bubble as well, and use this to set our angle, and then use the power to control our speed. Alright, so there's about a 750 foot descent rate roughly. I'll keep our speed there at about 165 as we descend down. It's Tunnel LaGrange coming up. So somewhere around here, we're going to be crossing the border. Obviously, Louisville's in Kentucky. Again, putting Frankfort, Kentucky in the very north of the state. We are 30 miles out. There's LaGrange right there. Just watching that power and that descent rate. We're going to go down to 1,000 feet. We're going to bring the power back to 15 inches. Well, we're going to get the horn, so we're going to come up. We're going to turn off the landing gear warning horn. There we go. 15 inches is set. And we're just setting at 1,000 feet per minute. Again, we're going down to 3,000. And then we'll bring it a little bit more level. And we can get ourselves ready to come in on the airport. Now there is a 1094 at Frankfort. I'm not sure if we'll pick it up, but we can try. It's not a VOR. It might just be an NDB. There's 1094. Yep, you can pick that up.
We have begun our final descent into Kentucky. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to select any tracks one final time.
Alright, so as we're coming up for 5,000 feet, we'll get our landing lights on.
Either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you.
Everything else is good. Keeping that 1,000 feet per minute. 15 inches on the pressure. There's 5,000 feet coming up, and we are 20 miles to go. See, we're slightly off course, so we're going to adjust to 120. Keeping an eye out. We're looking good. We're going to be heading directly towards the airfield. We're going to want to be slightly to the north, so we're going to adjust again by 10 degrees. And runway heading, just to put in for our reference, is 249. So we're going to come down here, set this to basically 250, and that will be our heading for the runway when we turn on to final, just as our reference. It's a little community here we're coming up to for Eminence, Kentucky. Airfield would be off around over here. We're through 4,000 feet. Start to bring that out. Over descent, 500 to go. We'll bring that up. We'll bring the engines up to 20 inches. And we'll come up and put the gear warning horn back on. Keep that descent going down to 3,000 feet. Actually, we're going down to 1,800. We're not doing too bad. Keeping an eye out for the airport. She'll be off to the side. It's 3,000 feet coming up. Keep that descent going. About 12 miles out. Alright, we're going to make that turn now. We can go over 120, head towards the airfield. Should cross close to 90 degrees. Further, slowly bring it around. Just 2,500 feet. We'll level at 2,000. That's good enough. And we'll go another 10 degrees. pretty much there. Start bringing our level. And we'll bring the power back up to cruise power setting of 30 inches. Alright, we are inbound. A little bit of rolling hills here, making the airport hard to spot. "10 miles out. Couple little towns we're going to go by, and then I should see Frankfort coming up. It's a fairly big place. Start edging directly towards it. Well, we're into the control zone. Just looking at the terrain features. I think that's it right there. Or right there. It's right there in front of us. Anyway. So we're looking good. We're about 5 miles out. As I said, we're going to fly overhead the field. And then we'll do a left downwind. And line up and come in for landing. There she is. Good. Okay, so landing lights are on. Those lights, position lights are all good there. I'm going to turn on the boost pumps, so when we start powering back, we've got full fuel pressure. Cockpit lights, we don't need them. Cowl flaps will leave in trail. Slowly coming down to 2,000 feet. Looks like we're going to pass. There's the airport. Yeah, there's the runway. The terminal building right there. Some hangars. That's the helicopter, U.S. Army helicopter squadron is based out of there. Alright, so there's the field coming up. Alright, and we are climbing. So we're going to go into manual mode here. We'll get some little bit of trim in there. So as we come up over the head of the field, mixture is going to go full rich on both sides. There we go. Props are coming fully forward. We'll leave power at 30 inches at the moment. That'll help slow us down. There we go. Runway 25 is identified. Descending, that's fine. We want to bring her down to about 1,800 feet. Speed's coming back to 160. We're now going to make our turn so that we're now running parallel in the opposite direction. Speed's down to 140. We're now running in the opposite direction. Let's gear down. flaps 1. There's the town of Frankfort. Very nice. Looks like a university building or something out there. Alright, let's make our turn. Start our descent. We're going to try to keep our speed around that 110 mark as we come around. Going to bring her 90 degrees. Tower below us there, so we're about 90 degrees. Well, wings level. There's the airport. Flaps 2. There's the runway marker. At least it's got the threshold lights going there. Again, 100 knots. Good. So we got a cemetery there on top of the hill. Very nice. Alright, we'll make our turn. Flaps 3. Keep that 100 knots. As we come around over the river. There we go. Not sure which way the wind's going, as mentioned. I believe it's out of the west, but I got no idea about the actual direction or which way crosswind's going to be. Alright, so we're looking good. We're below 112, so flaps full. We're going to keep the speed around 90 until we hit the threshold. We're a little high, back on the power. Looks like the wind's going to be out of the right. Definitely out of the right. Just saw a shadow flash over me. I think that was Wayne. Yep, there he is. Yeah, there's that crosswind. It's going to be almost a 70 or 80 degree. Alright, get that power back. Alright, we'll get the wheel down. Ooh, a little bit of a bounce. That's fine. Hold it. Hold it. Hold the tail up. Keep her running center. Start adding in right aileron to counteract that wind. Props are all the way back. Down comes the tail. Fly it down to the ground. There we go. Tail is down. Pulling back, pinning that tail down. And there we are. Bring the engines up so they don't stall. And we will turn off here. We are clear of the active runway, so we're going to taxi back to the terminal now. Looking very nice. Get those flaps coming up. And landing lights can come off. Pitot heat can come off. Looking good. Welcome to Kentucky. Not a lot of room here. I will go to the next one and then go down in that open area there. was a nice little flight. I'll come over here and then swing the tail around. And there we go. So here we are. Brakes are set. Bring the engines up to 1,000 RPM. All right. I can open up the window here. Listen to Wayne's Merlin as we shut down. So we're going to come over to engine number 1. We're going to go mixture fully back, props fully back, and throttle closed. We can now shut off the generator, shut off the boost pump, and shut off the mags. We'll do the same on the left engine. Mixture cut off, prop fully back, throttle fully back, boost pumps off, generators are off, and mags are closed. So we're going to get the battery cart hooked up. We're going to deploy the battery cart, get it turned on. Beacon light can come off, position lights are off, you can go away. Battery cart is set. Yeah, avionics will now come off, and we can get the back door opened up. One more to go. There we go. And there is everything there. Excellent. What a great flight. Thank you very much for joining us. Wayne, thank you for flying along. Hope you enjoyed. And we will see you all on the next one. We are back Friday, Satan 7:37. Hope to see you there. Thanks for coming along. See you then. Bye for now.